and I understand things about insurance that I normally would glaze over at. So you really have a handle and a grasp on this and really work hard at conveying this. And what I've come away, listeners, I'll share with you, watching Tabitha work with clients, and they relate someone that's in their corner. So that's something that reoccurs. But I know too that there's a background story here with your father. After your father passed and there were some bills there, can you tell us a little bit about what happened with that?
Yes, and my dad passed in 2005, and about 2006, I started receiving several bills in my name, and I was 19 years old, and my father had passed. When I opened up the bills, I found out that insurance was holding me liable for close to $500,000 due to some billing issues that were going on with the insurance carrier, and me being my father's caretaker.
Right.
Long story short, I dug into it. I realized that the insurance companies made a lot of mistakes. At the company I worked at, it kind of went hand in hand. I was working at a company that allowed me to oversee several hospitals' accounts. And looking at that, you just see how many times insurance companies do make mistakes, or something wasn't properly communicated on what needs to be updated so their claims can process correctly. So I just take the experiences and just knowing how important that communication is, and I give that to each and every client that I meet with.
It is so important. And in this world that's shifting right now, and we may be losing Obamacare, maybe something else will be put in place if they repeal and replace it. People, I think, are really concerned about where they're going to be standing with their insurance, with their coverage, if they have a pre-existing condition. And it's so important to have someone that's knowledgeable, because a lot of times it feels like you're thrown to the sharks. I certainly have had insurance before where I got all of these benefits or all of these packages or plans thinking, because they kind of were using scare tactics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely, and it's more common than not, and people don't realize, again, with the way that the medical costs are right now, no matter what goes on with politics, the healthcare will still be here, but it's learning how to control our costs, our out-of-pocket exposure, not necessarily buying the first plan that they put in front of you, and going through each and every plan, and along with supplement plans, to find out where can you save the money, but make sure they're properly protected, whether it's medical, it's an accident, anything, and just communicating that and covering all of their needs.
It's so important, guys. So this is something, and we'll give you Tabitha's contact information when we conclude, but this is such an important conversation to have, because insurance is that thing you do not think about when you need it. You know, when you need it, it's a little bit too late. You've got to kind of get a jump on it and get ahead of the game here. So this is such an important thing. And I've had the opportunity to, like I mentioned here, see you working with your clients, Tabitha. You're incredibly charming, excited about what you do. You're insightful and intelligent. You're really very thorough. And I've been wondering, as I've been watching you grow so rapidly and be awarded and lauded and just taking over here in this community, in the insurance world, what is your long-term vision for TLR Insurance?
My long-term vision, when you go into the insurance world,
well, it looks like we may have, did we lose Tabitha? I think we might have lost Tabitha, but that is okay. I think you guys got a lot of the information that you will have needed, and I will make sure that I get her contact information up, and maybe we can get her back on the line. But what I want to go into here is, I just think that it's so amazing that these two women, Tabitha was able to speak today for Kim, and she was also able to speak for herself about a dream that she held, and about wanting something and going after it. Kim had that vision that came to her in the night that she held and that she brought to her husband. And he said, I don't know yet, honey, I don't know. And that's something that's important, guys. Remember, when you have a dream, someone isn't always going to be right on board with that dream. It doesn't mean that it's not valid. It just means that they have to wake up to it. And we've had other guests on who have talked about having ideas and visions and sharing it with their spouse. And so I just want you guys to remember that you don't always need the validation of somebody else to hold your dream. That is a dream that God, the universe, has given you. He's put it in your belly. That's in your heart, in your mind, in your soul and spirit. And that is for you to carry out to fruition. So if you're interested in something, it's not a coincidence. And again, I keep mentioning this because it's so important to remember that we're always getting cues about what we should do. But it's really important as well that we focus. And one of the things I wanted to focus on is Tabitha and how she recorded her goal in her email. And she wrote it down and it came to fruition. She did it in a very creative way. And I think she's so creative, abracadabra, she's back on the line with us.
Thank you, Monette. I apologize about that.
No problem, no problem. Magic Tabitha, I told you guys many hats. She's actually a magician on this show as well. So, all right, we'll pick up where we left off, which is great because I definitely wanted to get everybody their contact information. But you were saying, what did you see as your long-term vision for TLR Insurance?
Our vision at TLR Insurance is to grow the business based on the service and aspect and not training agents to focus on the sales. Because at the end of the day, we have to make sure our clients are comfortable. They realize that they're the importance. It's not about what's going in those agents' pockets. It's about what are we doing to take care of that client sitting in front of us. And what goes around comes around. And that's really the motto that we use in our business is we understand that these good things will come back in return.
I love that because I really believe in karma. I really believe in the energy that you put out coming back to you. And the truth is I've seen you operate from this place in your heart and I've seen your heart. And another place I have seen your heart is in the way that you interact with your beautiful daughter. You are definitely a proud mama bear. You are a proud mama bear. What is the legacy that you want to leave for her in this life?
Just to let her know to follow her dreams. And if you have a vision to do something, know that you can make it reality, no matter what people are telling you. Throughout the years, I've heard several times, as an agent, you really have to focus on those sales. And I've been able to prove the system wrong by growing the business on the service. So when I'm no longer here, for her to be able to go out and see TLR Insurance and know how many lives were changed and how we did it from our heart, that's the most rewarding, biggest legacy I can leave for my daughter.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I really know at the rate that you're going. I have no doubt. I mean, guys, when I say I'm so impressed, I've known this woman for many years and I've watched her evolve and grow. So I'm a little biased here, but she's amazing. And it's not just that she's amazing. She really is she's lauded, she's awarded. She's somebody who's in the community who's making moves and is being recognized for it. So it's not just my personal opinion. This is a factual thing. And you're blazing a trail for your daughter already. And you will most certainly leave an honorable legacy for her. I have no doubts about that, Tabitha. So it's been so good getting to share some energy with you today. And because you have some incredible services to offer under your umbrella, I really of TLR Insurance. What's the other word for that? Umbrella is is it brokerage?
A brokerage.
Brokerage. Okay. See, I'm learning, guys. I'm learning on the fly. If anyone would like to contact you, how can they go about doing that?
They can reach me directly by calling 321-987-5779.
Okay. Is there any email? Or is it the TLR?
It's the TLR Insurance, but now at gmail.com.
At Gmail, guys. That's like 20. How many years in the making is that? How many years from 17 till now? We don't want to count that, do we? That's some years in the making.
We're over the 10 mark, and that was enough.
Forever young. You'll be forever young to me, Tabitha. So absolutely, guys. So you can contact her at TLR Insurance, TLR Insurance at gmail.com. Okay. So, Tabitha, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you're already en route to someplace else. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule and sharing that information with us. I think it's really pertinent information at the time we are in the world right now in regards to insurance, too. So I really, really appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Mona. And again, thank you to the listeners for taking the time out to listen to this. Nana's House is a wonderful charity. Just to raise awareness about something that's just so amazing is just a blessing, and I can't thank you enough. And again, the opportunity to discuss what's going on in the insurance world.
Absolutely. We love Nana's House. We love TLR Insurance. We'll be on the lookout for both of those with our listeners, and we're wishing you nothing but continued success. Thank you so much today.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. Guys, wasn't that great? Tabitha is just a bright light, a lot of information. I love that she's a spokesperson for Nana's house. I love that she's in constant communication with Kim. And there's some other treats that are upcoming here on this station, on the Talk Network radio station. So stay tuned. Some music that's involved with Nana's house. Surprise, a little early Christmas surprise that will be coming up. So we'll definitely get that information to you when it's time, and I'll advertise it to myself. Here's what I want to get back into, though. Tabitha's dream. We've been here before, a little deja vu. Tabitha's dream. She wrote it down. It came to fruition, and she did it in a very creative way. For her, it was that email, that email address that she had to create in class. Now, she's just trying to get a grade. She's trying to make sure that she's meeting the requirements of that dual enrollment class. However, it was a seed, a little seed, and we'll talk more about little seeds later too, guys, but it was a little seed that she planted that grew into a tree. And I have mentioned to you guys that I'm a mixed media artist, and Tabitha commissioned me to make the artwork for her office. And what she wanted was a full-blown tree. I don't know if she understands, even at this moment, the correlation, because I didn't understand the background of her story. I've known her for years. I didn't know she had that email at 17. That was fascinating to me. So she planted a seed, and then she had me paint the tree. She literally has grown her life, and it's a fully formed tree. And that is that tree, that brokerage, that umbrella. It's a big tree with a huge canopy and a lot of life and light coming through it. And that's what she wanted as her logo for her offices. And so that is something to know. She was really moving in the direction of her dream. She built momentum, and it carried her to her destiny. Now, we've heard about this concept. If you've listened to The Secret many years ago, when that was all the rage, and Oprah, and self-realization and visualization, we know about a dream board, a vision board. I even do workshops with kids at local libraries about creating mini vision boards so they can understand that it begins with just looking at that picture, just holding that idea. But I want to take it a step further today with our practical tip, which is about writing. Tabitha built this momentum, but it wasn't just by looking at a picture. She wrote it down. And I find great power in the writing down of a single thing, any single thing that you wish to accomplish. And each morning for me, friends and family can attest to this, during my meditations, I engage in a stream of consciousness writing. I put my favorite centering music on, or even a guided meditation at times, and I just begin to write. Now, let me tell you, at first, it kind of is plodding along. It feels very deliberate, like here I am, I'm writing, and I'm just writing words. I'm writing pleasant things about my day, like today's a prosperous day, today I'm healthy, today I get my goals done, things like that. And then what happens is I get into the flow, and that's the beautiful thing about any kind of spiritual work. There is a place where you sit down, like think about the yogi that sits down to meditate. And he's doing it because it's what he's supposed to do. And then he starts to transcend his self, his body, and his mind. And he can even sometimes get to the place where there's the blue light. Or think about people that are doing meditations with Kundalini rising. So they're having this incredible force of energy blow through their body. This is not just a phenomenon that is made up and a little airy fairy. This is recorded now. We know that from the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, who wrote What the Bleep Do We Know? And he also has wrote Making Your Mind Matter. And Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself is one of my favorite ones. And that's one of the guided meditations that I listen to. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And what he talks about is the studies he's done watching people meditate, where they are hooking them up to all these probes and they're monitoring their brainwaves and their activity and everything while they're in their meditations, and the amazing things that are happening. We'll talk about that more in another show. I just want you to understand this moment where you sit down, even if you have a pen in your hand, even if you're sitting Indian style in your favorite comfy place in your home, this is a moment where you're connecting and you're rewiring the synapses and the pathways in your brain, your neural pathways. This is a very important tool in your box of spiritual growth. So when I get into this flow, something happens and I become prophetic. Prophetic words for my own life start to flow out of me. I start speaking life over myself in my written word. Now, I'm a writer, so that writing is very important to me. That action works for me. You will have to find what works for you. Though I do suggest writing down some goals. I still